Good evening, dear listener, and welcome to another soothing journey through history. Tonight, we're setting sail with the Vikings in the year 985, joining the legendary Eric the Red as he leads his band of Norse settlers to the icy, uncharted shores of Greenland. Imagine being a modern soul, suddenly thrust into the life of a Viking, braving the bone-chilling cold to carve out a new home in this unforgiving wilderness. We'll follow our rugged but slightly overwhelmed hero as he battles frost, hunger, and the perils of the Arctic wild, all while trying to prove himself among these fierce Norse warriors. If you're ready to trade your modern comforts for a peek into this frosty Viking saga, settle in, dim the lights, and perhaps turn on a fan for that soft hum. If you enjoy this journey, do give a like, subscribe, and whisper in the comments where you're tuning in from. Now, let's don our furs, clutch our axes, and drift into the past, carefully, lest we freeze in the Arctic chill. 'Tis a bitter morning in 985, and you're Bjorn, a modern soul who's found himself among Eric the Red's band of Vikings, sailing across the treacherous North Atlantic to the mysterious land of Greenland. You're standing at the prow of a creaking longship, the carved dragon head at its bow glaring fiercely into the icy mist, its wooden scales etched with ancient knotwork patterns, a symbol of Odin's protection for this perilous journey. The ship's single sail, a pale yellow square adorned with a black raven, flaps wildly in the howling wind. Whoosh! Its cross-hatched lines showing the strain of the storm. You're wrapped in a fur-lined brown tunic, the coarse bear pelt scratching your skin, and a horned helmet sits heavy on your head, its carved knotwork glinting faintly in the dim light. Your reddish-brown cloak flaps behind you like a tattered banner, but it does little to keep out the biting cold that seeps into your bones. Brr! You grip a carved oar, its handle etched with runes that promise strength, though your modern hands tremble from the chill. The sea around you is a pale yellow expanse, its jagged waves carved in sharp, angular patterns, crashing against the ship with a force that makes the wooden hull groan. Creak, creak. Icebergs loom like ghostly giants in the distance, their carved shapes jagged and menacing, while the sky above is a stormy gray, with angular clouds and faint lightning bolts etched in ochre yellow, a sign of Thor's displeasure. "I'll build a grand hall in Greenland," you declare, your voice brimming with misplaced confidence, your eyes wide with determination as you peer into the mist, dreaming of fame and warmth in this new land. But deep down, a shiver runs through you, not just from the cold, but from the dawning realization that you have no idea what you're getting into. Your fellow Vikings, their carved faces weathered and resolute, row in unison, their flat brown furs dusted with frost, their breath visible in the frigid air. Eric the Red, a towering figure at the helm, stands like a carved statue in his reddish-brown cloak, his beard braided with carved beads, his eyes narrowed as he scans the horizon. "Row harder, Bjorn. Greenland's no place for weaklings," he barks, his voice booming over the wind, his carved face etched with the scars of a warrior. You nod, your modern bones aching in a way you've never felt before, the salt spray stinging your face as you pull the oar. Splash, splash. The other Vikings, smaller in stature to show their lesser roles, row with grim determination, their carved expressions showing the toll of the journey. Frost lines on their cheeks, eyes half closed against the wind. A carved raven circles overhead, its wings spread in a sharp, angular pattern, a sign of Odin watching over you, or perhaps judging your worthiness. You shiver again, realizing that survival in Greenland starts with enduring this icy voyage and you're already wondering if you've made a terrible mistake by leaving the warmth of your modern world behind. After weeks at sea, the longship finally scrapes against the icy shore of Greenland, your new home. You step off the ship, your boots crunching on the frozen ground, crunch, crunch, and a dust of frigid wind hits you like a carved slap, carved frost lines clinging to your reddish-brown cloak. Brr! It doesn't look very green, you mutter, your voice trembling with a mix of disappointment and dread, your eyes wide with dismay, mouth downturned as you take in the stark landscape. The towering icy cliffs rise like jagged teeth, their pale yellow surfaces carved with sharp, cross-hatched lines, while the snowy tundra stretches endlessly before you, etched with angular snowflakes, falling in a relentless dance. The sky above is a pale yellow expanse, the faint reddish-brown sun disk barely visible, its straight, carved rays offering no warmth in this frozen wilderness. You clutch your carved axe, its handle etched with knotwork patterns, hoping it will help you carve out a life here, but the weight of the cold presses down on you like a carved boulder. I thought Eric said this place was a paradise, you grumble, your breath forming faint clouds in the air, your modern optimism fading faster than the sunlight. The other Vikings, their carved faces weathered but resolute, begin unloading barrels of salted fish and woven baskets of tools, their flat brown furs dusted with snow, their movements slow but steady, as if they've accepted this harsh land as their fate. Eric the Red strides ashore, his carved boots leaving deep prints in the snow, his reddish-brown cloak billowing like a banner of conquest. "Welcome to your new home, Bjorn. Let's build," he booms, his carved face lit with a fierce grin, eyes gleaming with ambition. You nod, shivering uncontrollably, your horned helmet slipping over one eye, its carved runes glinting faintly in the dim light. A carved seal pokes its head out of the icy water nearby, its reddish-brown body etched with angular flippers, its eyes watching you with carved curiosity, as if wondering how long you'll last in this unforgiving place. The longship rests on the shore, its earthy brown hull carved with cross-hatched lines, the dragon prow raised high like a guardian spirit, its scales etched with intricate knotwork, a reminder of the Viking legacy you're now part of. You wrap your cloak tighter, feeling the bite of the wind through every seam, realizing that survival in Greenland means battling the cold from the very first day, with no modern heaters, no electric blankets, just your furs and your wits. The icy wind whispers a warning through the fjord, whoosh, and you can't help but wonder if you'll ever feel warm again in this frozen land. You and your fellow Vikings set to work building a longhouse, a sturdy hall to shelter you from Greenland's relentless cold, a necessity if you're to survive the brutal winters. I've seen houses on TV. This can't be that hard, you say, your voice tinged with a mix of hope and uncertainty, your eyes wide with determination as you pile up carved logs and stones, each beam etched with knotwork patterns to honor the gods. The other Vikings, their carved faces focused, work with a rhythm born of years at sea and in the wild, chopping logs with carved axes, hammering stones with carved stone hammers, their flat brown furs dusted with snow, their breath visible in the frigid air. Huff, huff. You try to keep up, hauling a heavy log across the snowy ground. Drag, drag. Its carved surface rough against your blistered hands, but your modern muscles ache with every step, unused to this grueling labor. You help lay the foundation, a rectangle of stones carved with cross-hatched lines, and then pile sod and grass atop the wooden frame for a roof. the reddish-brown grass packed tight to keep out the wind. "It's coming together," you cheer, stepping back to admire your work, your carved cloak flapping in the icy breeze, a faint smile tugging at your lips. But you're no Viking builder, and your inexperience shows. The roof is uneven, the sod too loosely packed, and as you take another step back, creak, creak, the whole structure groans ominously. Before you can react, the roof collapses with a carved crash. Carved grass and dirt raining down on you in jagged lines, burying you in a pile of rubble, your eyes wide, mouth open in frustration as you shout, "I just wanted a house." The carved dirt lines settle around you, a testament to your shaky start in this frozen land. The other Vikings, their carved faces filled with concern, rush to pull you out, their hands gripping carved logs and stone hammers, muttering, "Bjorn, you build like a child. Did you not learn in the fjords of Norway?" You sputter, brushing off the dirt with trembling hands, your horned helmet now lopsided, its carved runes mocking your efforts. "I'm trying, all right," you snap, your voice cracking with exhaustion, your modern pride bruised as much as your body. A carved raven perches on a nearby rock, its ochre yellow feathers etched with sharp lines, its head tilted as if judging your failure, a sign that Odin might not be impressed either. The snowy hills in the background, their carved snowflakes falling in angular patterns, seem to loom closer, a reminder of the cold that waits to claim you if you can't build a proper shelter. Survival in Greenland means mastering the art of building a longhouse to withstand the Arctic chill. But with scarce timber in this treeless land and your modern lack of skills, your shaky longhouse is more of a hazard than a haven. You resolve to try again, but the icy wind, whoosh, cuts through your furs like a carved blade, whispering a warning. Every mistake here could cost you your life. With the longhouse still a work in progress, its charred remains a grim reminder of your last attempt. You need food to survive the coming winter, and there are no farms in Greenland to provide it. The Vikings rely on hunting and fishing, so you grab your carved spear, its handle etched with knotwork patterns to honor Thor, and head to the icy shore to hunt seals, a staple of their diet in this barren land. "I've seen this on TV. How hard can it be?" you mutter, your voice a mix of hope and trepidation, your eyes wide with determination. As you trudge through the snow, crunch, crunch, your reddish-brown cloak flapping in the frigid wind, your horned helmet casting a faint shadow on the jagged ice patches beneath your feet. You spot a seal lounging on the ice, its earthy brown body carved with sleek, angular lines, its flippers etched with sharp curves, its round eyes glinting with a hint of mischief as it basks in the faint sunlight of the reddish-brown sun disk above. Its rays carved in straight lines but offering little warmth. You creep closer, your carved spear raised, your breath shallow, as you whisper, "This is my chance for a feast." But the ice is slicker than you expected, polished by the Arctic wind, and as you lunge forward, whoosh, your foot slips on a carved ice patch. Slip, carved lines beneath your feet, showing the skid. You flail, your eyes wide, mouth open in panic, shouting, "No, no, no!" As your carved spear flies through the air, its knotwork etchings catching the light as it lands uselessly in the snow. Thud. You slide across the ice, your carved cloak trailing behind like a banner of failure, and crash into a snowbank with a carved thump. Your horned helmet flying off and landing upside down with a carved clunk. The seal, its carved eyes now etched with mockery, lets out a carved bark, a sharp, angular sound, and slips into the icy water with a carved splash, its flippers leaving faint ripples in the carved wave patterns of the frozen sea. You groan, sitting up in the snow, your carved face a picture of defeat, your eyes half closed, mouth downturned as you mutter, "I'm never eating again." The other Vikings, their carved faces filled with concern, watch from a rocky outcrop in the distance, their flat brown furs blending with the earthy brown stone, their carved spears resting on their shoulders. "Bjorn, you hunt like a child. Did you not learn in the fjords?" One calls, his voice tinged with exasperation, his carved beard fluttering in the wind. A carved seabird, its ochre-yellow wings spread in a sharp, angular pattern, soars above, its cry echoing over the fjord, a reminder of the wild you've yet to conquer. Survival in Greenland means mastering the hunt, but with your modern clumsiness, you're more likely to catch a cold than a seal, and the gnawing hunger in your belly grows stronger with each failed attempt. Night falls, and the temperature plunges to a bone-chilling low, the carved frost lines creeping over your reddish-brown cloak like a spider's web. Brr! You huddle by the fire in the longhouse, its carved wooden walls etched with knotwork patterns that tell tales of Odin and Thor, but the grass roof above, carved in reddish-brown and dusted with carved snowflakes, does little to keep out the cold. The fire, its angular flames carved in reddish-brown, crackles weakly. Crackle, crackle, offering a faint glow but not nearly enough warmth to thaw your frozen bones. You shiver uncontrollably, your eyes wide with misery, mouth downturned in a grimace, as carved icicles hang from your beard, a testament to the Arctic chill that seeps through every crack in the longhouse. "I'd give anything for a heater," you mutter, your voice trembling, your modern bones aching in a way you've never felt before, the cold gripping you like a carved bear's paw. The other Vikings, their carved faces etched with frost lines, huddle close, their flat brown furs pulled tight around their shoulders, their breath visible in the frigid air. Huff, huff. "This is Greenland's welcome, Bjorn," one says, his voice weary, his carved eyes half closed against the cold, his beard dusted with carved snow. "Only the strong survive the frost." You nod, your horned helmet slipping over one eye, its carved runes glinting faintly in the firelight, a reminder of the gods you must appease to endure this land. The faint reddish-brown moon disk in the sky, its carved rays barely piercing the carved clouds shaped like ravens, offers no warmth, only a cold, distant light that bathes the snowy hills in an eerie glow. A carved wolf howls in the distance, howl, its carved howl lines echoing through the night, a haunting reminder of the dangers that lurk beyond the longhouse walls. Survival in Greenland means battling the cold every day, with no modern comforts to ease the chill. Your furs, your fire, and your will are all you have. You wrap your cloak tighter, feeling the bite of the wind through every seam, vowing to endure, but the icy night whispers a challenge through the fjord. Whoosh! Only the strongest will see the dawn. With your hunting attempts proving disastrous, your bruised ego still stings from the seal fiasco. You turn to fishing in the fjord, hoping to catch something to fill the settlement's dwindling stores. "The fjord must be full of fish," you say, your voice a mix of desperation and hope as you trudge to the icy shore. Crunch, crunch, your carved spear in hand, its handle etched with rune symbols to honor Njord, the god of the sea. The fjord stretches before you, its icy water carved in pale yellow with sharp wave patterns, reflecting the faint light of the reddish-brown sun disk above. Its carved rays struggling to pierce the carved clouds in the pale yellow sky. Towering icy cliffs loom on either side, their soft gray surfaces etched with jagged lines, their peaks carved like the teeth of a frost giant, a reminder of the harsh beauty of this land. You spot a carved fish swimming beneath the ice, its ochre yellow scales glinting with angular fins, darting through the water with a carved blub, blub. "I can do this," you whisper, your eyes wide with determination, as you kneel on the ice, your carved spear raised, your reddish-brown cloak flapping in the frigid wind. But the ice is slicker than you expected, polished by the Arctic wind, and as you thrust your spear, whoosh, your balance falters. You slip, your carved spear flying into the water with a carved splash, and you plunge into the fjord. Splash! Carved water lines rising around you as you flail, your eyes wide, mouth open in panic, shouting, "I'm not a fish." The icy water bites at your skin, colder than anything you've ever felt, soaking your carved cloak with carved water lines, your horned helmet bobbing beside you like a carved buoy, its rune etchings mocking your failure. The other Vikings, their carved faces filled with concern, watch from their carved boat, its earthy brown hull etched with a dragon prow, their flat brown furs dusted with frost as they hold carved fishing nets, ready to haul in their own catch. "Bjorn, you fish like a child. Did you not learn in the fjords?" one calls, his voice tinged with exasperation, his carved beard fluttering in the wind. In the distance, a carved whale breaches the surface. Splash, its reddish-brown body etched with angular fins, carved water spray rising in sharp lines, a reminder of the fjord's untapped bounty, if only you could master it. You scramble out of the water, your carved tunic dripping, your teeth chattering. Clatter, clatter, as you mutter, "I'd rather starve than do that again." Survival in Greenland means mastering the fjord's bounty. But with your modern clumsiness, you're more likely to catch a cold than a cod. And the gnawing hunger in your belly grows stronger with each soggy misadventure. Desperate for food after your fishing failure, you venture into the snowy forest to hunt, hoping to bring back something, anything to feed the settlement. "I'll prove I'm a real Viking," you declare, your voice a mix of defiance and desperation, as you grip your carved spear, its handle etched with knotwork patterns to honor Freyr, the god of fertility and harvest. You trudge through the deep snow, crunch, crunch, your carved boots sinking with every step, your reddish-brown cloak flapping in the icy wind, your horned helmet casting a faint shadow on the gnarled trees around you, their carved branches etched with cross-hatched lines, dusted with carved snowflakes that fall in angular patterns from the pale yellow sky above, where a faint reddish-brown moon disk casts carved rays through carved clouds shaped like ravens, a sign that Odin might be watching. You spot tracks in the snow, carved paw prints leading deeper into the forest, and your heart races with hope. A hare, maybe a deer. You whisper, your eyes wide with anticipation, as you follow the trail, your carved spear raised, your breath shallow in the frigid air. Huff, huff. But as you round a carved tree, a carved wolf emerges from the shadows. Its reddish-brown fur bristling with angular lines, its sharp teeth glinting like carved daggers, its eyes etched with a predatory glare. Ground. You freeze, your carved cloak catching on a branch. Snap, your eyes wide, mouth open in terror, as the wolf lunges, its carved growl lines echoing through the forest. A haunting sound that sends a chill down your spine. Colder than the Arctic wind, you turn and run, run, run. Carved run lines beneath your feet as you dodge between trees, your carved spear clattering to the ground, your modern instincts no match for this primal predator. The wolf chases you, its carved paws kicking up carved snowflakes, its angular body a blur of reddish-brown motion, gaining on you with every step. You shout, "I'm not dinner!" your voice cracking with fear as you stumble over a carved root, thud, and scramble up a carved tree, its branches etched with sharp lines, your carved cloak tearing as you climb. Rip. The other Vikings, their carved faces filled with concern, rush to your aid, their flat brown furs dusted with snow, their carved spears and shields, etched with knotwork patterns, raised as they drive the wolf away. Tlagi, tlagi. A carved owl perches on a branch above, its ochre-yellow feathers etched with sharp lines, its head tilted as if judging your cowardice, a sign that the gods might not be impressed with your bravery. Survival in Greenland means facing deadly wildlife. But with your modern lack of skills, you're more prey than hunter, and the forest's dangers leave you shaken, clinging to the tree for dear life. Back at the settlement, the rebuilt longhouse stands as a fragile sanctuary against the Arctic cold. Its carved wooden walls etched with knotwork patterns to honor the gods, its grass roof packed tight to keep out the wind, yet the chill still seeps through every crack. You're desperate to stay warm after your forest ordeal, your modern bones aching for the heat of a modern radiator. So you decide to stoke the fire, crackle, crackle. More wood, more heat, you say, your voice a mix of determination and desperation, your eyes wide with hope as you pile on logs, their carved surfaces etched with sharp lines into the hearth. The carved flames in reddish-brown, flickering weakly at first. You sit back, rubbing your hands, dreaming of the cozy fires of your modern home, the faint warmth teasing your frozen fingers. Ugh, but you're no Viking firemaster, and your modern impatience gets the better of you. You add more logs, too many, too fast, and the fire grows wild, the carved flames leaping higher. Whoosh, their sharp, angular lines licking at the carved grass roof above. That's better, you cheer, your carved cloak pulled tight around you, a faint smile tugging at your lips. But the flames catch the dry grass, and within moments the roof erupts in carved flames. Crackle, carved crackle lines, rising as the fire spreads, the reddish-brown grass roof blazing like a beacon in the Arctic night. You leap to your feet, your eyes wide, mouth open in panic, shouting, "I just want it to be warm." As you run out of the longhouse, the carved flames leaping behind you in sharp, angular bursts, your carved axe with knotwork etchings slipping from your hand and clattering to the ground, thud. The faint reddish-brown moon disk in the sky, its carved rays piercing the carved clouds shaped like ravens, casts an eerie glow on the burning longhouse, a grim reminder of your mistake. The other Vikings, their carved faces filled with alarm, rush to douse the flames, their flat brown furs dusted with snow as they throw carved buckets of water. Splash, splash, carved splash lines rising in pale yellow as they battle the blaze. "Bjorn, you fool, you'll burn us all," one shouts, his carved beard fluttering in the wind, his eyes narrowed with frustration. A carved raven soars above, its ochre yellow wings spread in a sharp, angular pattern, its cry echoing over the settlement, a sign that the gods might not approve of your fiery mishap. The longhouse is saved, but the damage is done. The roof is charred, the walls blackened, and the cold creeps in stronger than ever, the carved snowflakes falling relentlessly outside. Survival in Greenland means mastering fire without burning down your only refuge. But your modern impatience has left you shivering in the snow, your carved cloak now singed. A hard lesson learned in the flickering glow of the dying flames. Winter deepens, and the settlement's food stores dwindle. Your failed hunts and fishing have left everyone hungry, the whale's bounty still a distant hope. The snowdrifts outside the longhouse are deeper now, carved in soft gray with sharp, flat lines, piling up against the icy cliffs in the distance, their pale yellow surfaces etched with jagged shapes, a testament to Greenland's relentless cold. The sky above is a pale yellow expanse, the faint reddish-brown sun disk barely visible through carved clouds shaped like ravens, its carved rays offering no warmth, only a cold, distant light, as carved snowflakes fall in angular patterns, blanketing the tundra in a thick, white shroud. Swirl, swirl. We need food or we'll starve, you mutter, your voice a mix of desperation and resolve, your eyes wide with hunger, mouth downturned in a grimace, as you venture into the tundra with your carved spear, its handle etched with knotwork patterns to honor Freyr, hoping to find something, anything to eat. You trudge through the deep snow, crunch, crunch, your carved boots leaving deep prints, your reddish-brown cloak dusted with carved snowflakes, your horned helmet slipping over one eye as the wind howls around you. Whoosh! Your stomach growls louder than a carved wolf. Grrr. A constant reminder of the hunger that gnaws at you, your modern body unused to such deprivation. You spot tracks in the snow, carved paw prints etched with sharp lines, and your heart leaps with hope. A hare, you whisper, your carved spear raised, your eyes wide with anticipation, as you follow the trail, the carved hare in reddish-brown with angular ears hopping just ahead, its movements quick and elusive. Hop, hop, you creep closer, your breath shallow. Huff, huff, but the hare senses you, its carved ears twitching, and darts away into a snowdrift, leaving you empty-handed once more, your carved face a picture of defeat, your eyes half closed, mouth downturned as you mutter, "I'm doomed." Back at the longhouse, the other Vikings, their carved faces gaunt with hunger, huddled together, their flat brown furs pulled tight around their shoulders, sharing the last scraps of dried fish around a faint carved fire in reddish-brown, its angular flames offering little comfort. "Bjorn, you search like a child. Did you not learn in the fjords?" One grumbles, his carved beard dusted with frost, his eyes narrowed with frustration. The longhouse, its earthy brown walls etched with knotwork patterns, stands as a fragile sanctuary against the cold, its carved grass roof sagging under the weight of the snow. Survival in Greenland means finding food in the harshest season, but with your modern lack of skills, starvation looms closer every day. The carved snowflakes outside falling relentlessly, a silent reminder of the winter's grip. You resolve to keep searching, clinging to the faint hope of spring. But the hunger in your belly and the fear in your heart grow stronger with each passing day. Just when all seems lost, a miracle washes ashore, a massive whale beached on the icy fjord, its carved fins glistening in the faint light of the reddish-brown sun disk above, its rays carved in straight lines, struggling to pierce the carved clouds in the pale yellow sky. You rush to the shore with the other Vikings, your carved boots crunching on the snow. Crunch, crunch. Your eyes wide with hope, mouth slightly smiling with relief, as you shout, "The gods have smiled on us. We'll eat for weeks." The whale, its reddish-brown body etched with angular blubber and carved fins, is a gift from the sea, a bounty that could save the settlement from starvation. Its sheer size a testament to Nord's favor, or perhaps a test of your worthiness. You join the others, your carved knife with knotwork etchings in hand, and begin carving the whale. Slice, slice, carved slice lines rising as you cut through the thick blubber, your hands sticky with oil, your modern squeamishness forgotten in the face of hunger. "This is harder than it looks," you grunt. your carved tunic stained with blubber, your horned helmet slipping over one eye as you work, the carved runes on its surface glinting faintly in the dim light. The other Vikings, their carved faces glowing with relief, work alongside you, their flat brown furs dusted with snow. Their carved knives and axes etched with sharp lines as they butcher the whale with practiced skill. Their voices rising in a carved chant to thank the sea gods. Chant, chant. To Njord, Lord of the Waves, we give thanks, they sing, their carved beards fluttering in the wind, their eyes half closed with gratitude. A carved boat rests on the shore nearby, its earthy brown hull etched with a dragon prow, a reminder of the journey that brought you here. While a carved seal in ochre yellow watches from the icy water, its angular flippers etched with sharp lines, its eyes glinting with curiosity or perhaps jealousy at the feast you've claimed. The icy cliffs in the background, their soft gray surfaces carved with jagged lines, loom over the fjord, a silent witness to your triumph. Survival in Greenland means seizing these rare gifts from the sea, and this whale might just see you through the winter, its blubber providing not just food, but oil for lamps and warmth. You smile, your carved face glowing with a newfound sense of purpose, realizing that even in this harsh land, there are moments of hope, if you're willing to endure long enough to find them. With the whale's bounty stored, slabs of blubber and meat packed in carved barrels, oil set aside for lamps, you sit by the fire in the rebuilt longhouse, a carved cup of mead in your hand, the warmth finally seeping into your frozen bones. The longhouse, its earthy brown walls etched with intricate knotwork patterns of ravens and wolves, stands as a testament to Viking craftsmanship, its carved grass roof, dusted with carved snowflakes, a fragile barrier against the cold outside. The fire, its sharp, angular flames, carved in reddish-brown, crackles warmly, crackle, crackle, casting a faint glow on the carved shield with a dragon symbol hanging on the wall. A reminder of the warrior spirit that defines this settlement. The snowy hills beyond, their carved snowflakes falling in angular patterns, loom through the cracks in the walls, while the pale yellow sky above, with carved clouds shaped like ravens, is lit by a faint reddish-brown moon disk, its carved rays casting an eerie light over the frozen land. You take a sip of mead, the carved cup etched with knotwork patterns to honor Freya, the goddess of love and fertility, and reflect on your journey, your eyes wide with a mix of exhaustion and pride, a slight smile tugging at your lips. I've survived, somehow, you muse, your voice soft, the warmth of the fire soothing your aching body, your carved cloak dusted with carved snowflakes that melt in the heat. A day's been a grueling saga, the icy voyage across the North Atlantic, the shaky longhouse that nearly crushed you, the failed hunts that left you bruised, the wolf that nearly ate you, the fire that nearly burned your shelter to the ground. But you've endured, thanks to the whale's bounty, the strength of your fellow Vikings, and a newfound resilience you didn't know you had. The other Vikings, their carved faces softened by the firelight, sit around the hearth, their flat brown furs pulled close, their carved drooping horns raised in a toast to survival. To Bjorn, who finally stopped burning things, one jests, his carved beard fluttering as he laughs, his eyes half closed with mirth, the frost lines on his face melting in the warmth. You chuckle, your carved face glowing with a sense of belonging, realizing that survival in Greenland isn't just about enduring the cold. It's about the Viking spirit, the resilience, camaraderie, and unyielding will to carve out a life in this frozen frontier. You've learned to adapt, to hunt, to build, and to hope, finding a new strength within yourself, even as the carved snowflakes outside continue to fall. a silent reminder of the challenges yet to come. The night deepens, and you settle onto a fur bed in the longhouse. The carved bear pelt beneath you, a rough but welcome comfort after the day's trials. You pull your reddish-brown cloak over you, its carved surface dusted with carved snowflakes that melt in the lingering warmth of the fire, and place your horned helmet beside you, its carved runes glinting faintly in the dim light, a symbol of the Viking you're becoming. The longhouse, its earthy brown walls, etched with knotwork patterns of ravens and wolves, hums with the quiet snores of your fellow Vikings, their flat brown furs rising and falling as they sleep on carved benches around the hearth. The carved fire, its angular flames in reddish-brown, crackles softly. Crackle, crackle, casting a warm glow on the carved shield with a dragon symbol hanging on the wall, a reminder of the warrior spirit that has carried you through this day. You lie back, your eyes closing, a slight smile tugging at your lips, as carved ZZZ lines float above your head, drifting into a deep, dreamless sleep. ZZZ. The day's been a frozen odyssey, the icy voyage that chilled you to the bone, the shaky longhouse that nearly crushed you, the failed hunts and fishing that left you hungry, the wolf that nearly ate you, the fire that nearly burned your shelter to the ground. But you survived, thanks to the whale's bounty, the strength of your fellow Vikings, and a resilience you didn't know you had. The starry sky outside, its carved star shapes etched in sharp lines, glows faintly through the cracks in the walls, a faint reddish-brown moon disk, casting carved rays over the snowy hills, a silent promise of the challenges yet to come. The other Vikings sleep nearby, their carved faces peaceful in the glow of the fire, a reminder that you're part of a community, bound by the struggle to survive in this harsh land. You dream of your modern life, where warmth is a button away, where food is a fridge door away. But there's a strange pride in this Viking life, a sense of accomplishment in enduring where few could. As you sleep, the sounds of Greenland, the howling wind through the fjord, the crackling fire, the distant cry of a carved raven, lull you deeper, a modern soul in a Viking world, safe at last in the arms of dreams. And so, a day in the life of a Viking in Greenland comes to a close, leaving behind a tale of cold, courage, and a few hard-earned victories in a frozen frontier. If you're still awake, I hope you've enjoyed this Viking saga, with its icy fjords, blazing fires, and the unyielding spirit of the Norse. If you're drifting off, let the fjord's gentle waves and the crackle of the fire carry you to dreamland, where the cold can't touch you. Thanks for joining me on this historical voyage through the frostbitten wilds of 985 Greenland. Like, subscribe, and comment with your thoughts, or what historical tale you'd like to hear next. Perhaps another Viking adventure, or a journey to a warmer clime. Until then, sleep well, and may your dreams be as bold as Bjorn's, minus the icy fjords and the howling wolves. Good evening, dear listener, and welcome to another soothing journey through history. Tonight, we're stepping into the scorching sands of ancient Egypt around 2500 BC, right in the heart of the Giza Plateau, where the Great Pyramids are rising. Imagine being a modern-day soul, suddenly thrust into the life of a slave, toiling under the blazing sun to build these monumental tombs. We'll follow our weary but determined hero as he tries and often fails to survive the grueling days of labor, harsh conditions, and the watchful eyes of the overseers. If you're ready to trade your modern comforts for a peek into this ancient struggle, settle in, dim the lights, and perhaps turn on a fan for that soft hum. If you enjoy this journey, do give a like, subscribe, and whisper in the comments where you're tuning in from. Now, let's pick up our stone tools and drift into the past, carefully, lest we anger the gods. 'Tis a blistering dawn in 2500 BC, and your Keti, a modern soul, suddenly thrust into the life of a slave in ancient Egypt, working on the Great Pyramid of Giza. You awaken on a bed of straw in a cramped mud brick hut, the air thick with dust and the distant chants of workers. I just wanted to see the pyramids, not build them, you mutter, your voice weary as you rub your aching back, your eyes wide with exhaustion as you tie on your simple white kilt, the only clothing you've got. You step outside, the sand burning your bare feet, sizzle, and join a line of slaves pulling massive stone blocks toward the pyramid. The overseer, a stern figure in a reddish-brown kilt, his carved necklace glinting in the sun, cracks his whip, snap, and barks. Faster, you lazy dogs. The pharaoh's tomb waits for no one. You grip the ropes, pulling with all your might, your body aching, realizing that survival here means back-breaking labor under the watchful eyes of the gods. And the overseer's whip. The sun climbs higher, and you're hauling a massive limestone block, your hands blistered, your back screaming in pain. This stone weighs more than my entire house, you groan, your eyes wide, mouth open in exhaustion, as you pull the ropes alongside a carved ox, its reddish-brown hide glistening with sweat. The pyramid looms ahead, its carved triangular shape growing with each block. But the work is endless. Day after day, you drag stones under the blazing sun. With no modern tools to ease the burden, the overseer cracks his whip again. Snap, and you stumble, nearly dropping the rope. Faster, or you'll feel the lash, he shouts, his carved face stern, eyes narrowed. You mutter under your breath. I'd trade my smartphone for a break right now. But there's no rest for a slave in ancient Egypt. Survival means enduring this grueling labor, day in and day out, with no hope of escape. Only the promise of a meager meal at dusk keeps you going. At dusk, the work finally stops, and you collapse in the shade of a mud brick hut, your body aching from head to toe. Time to eat, you sigh, your eyes wide with hope as you join the other slaves around a small fire. But the meal is far from a feast, a piece of coarse bread and a handful of dried dates, handed out by a gruff overseer. You take a bite of the bread, only to crunch on sand. Crunch, your eyes widening, mouth downturning in disappointment as you spit out the grit. This bread is more sand than flour, you groan, realizing that in ancient Egypt, even the food is a challenge. The other slaves, their carved faces weary, nod in agreement, sharing their own sandy bites. It's better than nothing, one mutters, but you're not so sure. Your modern stomach isn't used to this. Survival here means eating whatever you're given, no matter how gritty, because there's no alternative. You chew slowly, dreaming of a burger. But in 2500 BC, you're lucky to have bread at all. The next day, the sun rises hotter than ever, a blazing reddish-brown disk in the sky, scorching the Giza Plateau. You're back to hauling stones, your skin burning, your throat parched. Sizzle. I'd give anything for a bottle of water, you mutter, your eyes wide, mouth open in pain, as you wipe sweat with a trembling hand, the carved beads of sweat glistening in the sun. But there's no bottled water in ancient Egypt, just a shared clay jar of Nile water, warm and muddy. Passed around every few hours, the overseer shows no mercy, his carved whip cracking, snap, as he shouts, "Work, or the gods will curse you." You pull harder, but the heat is unbearable, and you're dizzy, your modern body unaccustomed to this relentless sun. Other slaves, their carved faces etched with exhaustion, work on, their bodies hardened by years of labor. But you're struggling to survive each scorching day, realizing that heat exhaustion is a constant threat in this ancient world. You're slowing down, your arms trembling as you pull a stone block, and the overseer notices. "You there, faster," he barks, his carved face stern, eyes narrowed as he raises his whip. You try to speed up, but exhaustion takes over, and you stumble. Thud. The block shifts, and the overseer's patience snaps. Snap. The whip lashes across your back, a carved snap line marking the strike, and you cry out, your eyes wide, mouth open in terror. "I'm trying, I swear." The other slaves, their carved faces filled with fear, keep working, heads down. They know better than to protest. You realize that in ancient Egypt, slaves have no rights, no voice. Disobedience, even accidental, means punishment. Survival here means enduring the overseer's wrath, no matter how unfair, because there's no escape from this life of servitude. You grit your teeth, pulling harder, vowing to be more careful. But the sting of the whip lingers as a painful reminder of your place. After another grueling day, you sit around the fire with the other slaves, your body aching, but your spirit lifted by a small act of kindness. "Here, take some," you say, your eyes wide, mouth slightly smiling, as you break your sandy bread in half, sharing it with a fellow slave named Amun. He nods gratefully, his carved face mirroring your hope, and you both eat in silence. The carved fire, glowing between you, casting warmth on your weary bones. In this harsh world, survival isn't just about enduring labor. It's about the bonds you form with others who share your struggle. The slaves around you, their carved faces softened by the firelight, begin to hum a quiet chant, a song to honor the gods and lift their spirits. You join in, your voice shaky but earnest, realizing that these moments of camaraderie, however small, are what keep you going in a life of endless toil. The overseer grants a rare break. You're allowed to bathe in the Nile, a brief respite from the endless labor. You wade into the cool water, the carved wave patterns lapping at your legs, and wash your face, your eyes wide, mouth slightly smiling with relief as the grime of the day washes away. Splash. "This is the best day I've had in weeks," you sigh, savoring the moment. The Nile's gift, a small mercy in a harsh life. Other slaves, their carved faces mirroring your relief. Bathe nearby, their laughter echoing softly across the water. But in the distance, a carved crocodile lurks, its reddish-brown scales glinting ominously. Gulp. You freeze, realizing that even this moment of peace comes with danger. Survival in ancient Egypt means seizing these rare respites, but always staying vigilant. The Nile may give life, but it can also take it away. A sandstorm sweeps across the Giza Plateau, the carved swirling lines of reddish-brown sand blinding you as you struggle to pull a stone block. Whoosh! You shield your face with a trembling hand, your eyes wide, mouth open in struggle, as the sand stings your skin, your kilt flapping in the wind. "I can't see a thing," you shout, your voice lost in the howl of the storm. But the overseer's whip cracks, snap, and you have no choice but to keep going. The other slaves, their carved faces etched with determination, huddle together, their bodies bent against the wind. You realize that survival here means enduring nature's wrath. Sandstorms, heat, and floods are all part of life in ancient Egypt, and as a slave, you have no shelter, no respite. You grit your teeth, pulling harder, knowing that stopping means punishment, and survival means weathering the storm. no matter how fierce. Exhausted and fed up, you decide to risk a small act of rebellion. You grab a chisel and carve a cartoonish face of the overseer on a stone block, complete with an exaggerated frown and a big nose. "Take that," you mutter, your eyes wide, mouth set in a defiant line, as you step back to admire your work. A small smirk forming. The other slaves, their carved faces filled with fear, whisper nervously, "He'll see it. You'll get us all whipped." Sure enough, the overseer approaches, his carved face twisted with anger as he spots your artwork. Snap! His whip cracks, and you're dragged off for punishment. Realizing that in ancient Egypt, rebellion, even a small one, comes at a steep price. Survival means keeping your head down, because any act of defiance could cost you dearly, or worse, your life. As punishment for your carving, the overseer assigns you extra labor, carrying stone blocks from the quarry to the pyramid site, alone, under the blazing sun. "You'll learn your place, slave," he snarls, his carved whip raised, eyes narrowed. You stagger under the weight, your eyes wide, mouth downturned in exhaustion, as you carry the blocks, your body screaming in protest. Thud, thud. The other slaves, their carved faces weary, watch with sympathy, but no one dares help. You're on your own. Survival in ancient Egypt means enduring these punishments, no matter how harsh, because disobedience isn't tolerated. You realize that as a slave, your life is at the mercy of the overseer's whims, and your modern ideas of fairness have no place here. You vow to keep your head down from now on, focusing on survival, one heavy stone at a time. The festival of Osiris arrives, a rare day of celebration. And the overseer grants the slaves a day of rest to honor the god of the afterlife. You join the other slaves, your eyes wide, mouth slightly smiling with hope, as you watch a procession of priests in carved reddish-brown robes, carrying offerings of bread and wine to the temple. "Maybe the gods will smile on us," you whisper, your carved face glowing with a flicker of hope, as you hum along with the other slaves, their voices rising in a carved chant to Osiris. For one day, you're not a slave, you're part of something greater, a community bound by faith and tradition. Survival in ancient Egypt isn't just about enduring hardship. It's about finding hope in these rare moments of joy, clinging to the belief that the gods might one day reward your toil. You close your eyes, dreaming of freedom as the festival's chants lull you into a peaceful rest. Night falls, and you return to your straw bed in the mud brick hut, your body aching, but your spirit lifted by the festival. You lie down, your eyes closed, mouth in a slight smile, as carved ZZZ lines float above your head, drifting into a deep sleep. The day's been a grueling journey, the labor, the heat, the punishment, the storm, but you've survived, thanks to the small kindnesses of your fellow slaves and the hope of better days. The other slaves sleep nearby, their carved faces peaceful in the glow of the fire, a reminder that you're not alone in this struggle. You dream of your modern life, where labor is a choice, not a sentence, realizing that survival in ancient Egypt means enduring, adapting, and finding strength in the smallest victories. As you sleep, the sounds of the Nile, gentle lapping water, distant crickets, lull you deeper. A modern soul in an ancient world, safe at last in the arms of dreams. And so, a day in the life of a slave in ancient Egypt comes to a close, leaving behind a tale of labor, survival, and a few fleeting moments of hope in a world ruled by gods and pharaohs. If you're still awake, I hope you've enjoyed this ancient journey. If you're drifting off, let the Nile's gentle flow carry you to dreamland. Thanks for joining me on this historical voyage. Like, subscribe, and comment with your thoughts or what historical tale you'd like to hear next. Until then, sleep well, and may your dreams be as enduring as Keddy's, minus the stone blocks. Good evening, dear listener, and welcome to another soothing journey through history. Tonight, we're stepping into the cluttered, creative world of Leonardo da Vinci in 1505, right in the heart of Renaissance Florence. Our genius inventor is hard at work on his wildest contraptions, flying machines, tanks, and more. But oh dear, they're not exactly cooperating. Picture a day where the great Leonardo, master of art and science, turns his workshop into a circus of failed inventions with mishaps that'll make you giggle as you drift off. If you're ready to trade your modern comforts for a peek into this Renaissance romp, settle in, dim the lights, and perhaps turn on a fan for that soft hum. If you enjoy this journey, do give a like, subscribe, and whisper in the comments where you're tuning in from. Now let's grab a quill and dive into the chaos, carefully, lest we knock over a masterpiece. 'Tis a sunny morning in 1505, and your Leonardo da Vinci, the Renaissance genius, already knee-deep in chaos in your Florence workshop. Your cluttered space is a marvel, wooden tables strewn with sketches, a half-finished painting of a lady with a mysterious smile, and a wooden model of a flying machine you've been tinkering with for weeks. You're Leonardo, a man of art and invention, and today you're determined to test your latest contraption, a winged machine that'll let man soar like a bird. Salai, fetch my tools, you call, your voice a mix of excitement and impatience, as you adjust the wooden wings with a flourish. Your apprentice, Salai, a cheeky lad with a knack for mischief, rushes in with a tray of tools, his smirk as wide as the Arno River. Here, master, he says, but in his haste, he trips over a pile of sketches, sending the tray flying. Clatter. The flying machine, precariously balanced on the table, tips over with a snap, its wings breaking like a bird that's forgotten how to fly. Your eyes widen in cartoonish panic, brows furrowing as you cry, "My wings! My dreams! Ruined by a clumsy apprentice!" Salai scrambles to his feet, muttering, "Sorry, master, but maybe birds are meant to fly, not men." You glare, but a chuckle escapes. Your day of inventing is off to a soaring start, straight into the ground. Undeterred by the morning's mishap, you've rebuilt your flying machine, sort of, and dragged it to the courtyard for a test flight. "Today, I shall soar like an eagle," you declare, strapping yourself into the contraption, its wooden wings creaking ominously. The machine looks like a giant bat, with linen wings stretched over a wooden frame, and you're perched on a platform like a bird ready to take flight. Your face is a picture of determination, eyes narrowed with focus, as you mutter, "Man will conquer the skies and I'll be the first." Salai, standing below, smirks cheekily. "Master, are you sure this will work? It looks like a laundry rack with wings." You ignore him, flapping the wings with all your might. Creak, creak. For a moment you lift off the ground half an inch before the whole thing collapses with a crack, sending you tumbling into a haystack with a thud. Cartoon stars circle your head as you emerge, hay in your hair, grumbling, "I flew." For a moment, Salai doubles over, laughing. "You flew straight into the hay, master. That's a new kind of bird." You glare, brushing off the hay. "Laugh all you want, Salai, but I'll conquer the skies yet, even if I have to crawl there first." Your flying dreams may be grounded, but your spirit soars on. Next on your list is a war machine, a wooden tank, a marvel of gears and wheels designed to roll over enemies like a spiked turtle. You've spent weeks sketching this contraption, and now it's ready for a test on a nearby hillside. "Behold, Salai, the future of warfare," you proclaim, patting the tank's wooden shell, its spikes gleaming with menace. Your face glows with pride, eyes sparkling with genius, as you mutter, This will make me the greatest military mind of the age. But as you give it a push to start the test, the tank starts rolling, downhill straight toward the neighbor's vineyard. "Sacre Madonna," you shout, your eyes popping wide in cartoonish panic, mouth gaping as the tank picks up speed. Crash. It smashes through a row of grapevines, cartoon smoke rising as it finally stops in a ditch, wheels spinning uselessly. Salai chases after it, his tiny legs flailing. "Master, your tank's a grape crusher now." You run down the hill, arms flapping. "My invention, my reputation ruined by a vineyard." The neighbor, a grumpy old farmer, emerges, shaking his fist. "You owe me for those grapes, Da Vinci." You sigh, muttering, "Perhaps I should stick to painting. These inventions are a battlefield of their own." Back in the workshop, you decide to take a break from inventing and return to your art, specifically a painting you've been working on. A lady with a mysterious smile you call Mona Lisa. "Art will soothe my inventive woes," you muse, picking up a brush with a sigh. But as you dip it in paint, Salai bursts in. "Master, I've brought more paints." His tray is a rainbow of colors, but in his excitement, he bumps into you. Splash! A pot of green paint spills right onto the Mona Lisa, splattering her serene face with cartoonish green splotches. "Sacre Madonna," you cry, your eyes bulging in cartoonish horror, mouth gaping as you stare at the mess. Her smile now looks like she's eaten a lime. "My masterpiece, ruined by a clumsy apprentice," you wail, grabbing a cloth to wipe it off, but the paint smears, turning her cheeks a sickly shade of green. Salai snickers. "She looks like she's seasick, master." You glare. "Salai, I'll have you scrubbing floors with that smirk." But as you scrub, you can't help laughing. Perhaps she'll start a new fashion. Green is the color of genius, after all. You set the canvas aside to fix later. Your day of failures is piling up faster than your sketches. Not one to give up, you turn to another invention. A diving suit for exploring underwater. A leather contraption with a helmet and air tubes. "I'll dive into the Arno and uncover its secrets," you declare, strapping on the suit with a determined look, your eyes narrowed with focus. The suit looks like a cross between a fish and a knight's armor, and you waddle to the riverbank, Salai trailing behind with a cheeky smirk. "Master, are you sure this will work? You look like a soggy turtle," he teases. You ignore him, stepping into the water. Splash. But the suit springs a leak, cartoon bubbles rising as water floods in. Drip, drip. "Sacre Madonna, I'm sinking," you shout, your eyes popping wide in cartoonish panic, arms flailing as you waddle back to shore, water pouring out with a splosh. Salai doubles over, laughing. "Master, you're more fisherman than fish." You emerge, soaked and grumpy, muttering, "I'll stick to sketching the river next time. Diving is for the ducks." You peel off the suit, shaking your head. Another invention bites the dust, or rather, the water. Back in the workshop, you turn to a smaller project. A mechanical clock to keep perfect time, a marvel of gears and springs. "Time is the canvas of genius," you proclaim, tinkering with the clock's innards, your face glowing with focus, eyes sparkling with ideas. But as you wind it up, the gears start to whir, too fast. "Sacre Madonna, it's going haywire," you shout, your eyes popping wide in cartoonish panic, mouth gaping as the clock explodes with a boing, cartoon springs flying everywhere. Bing! Bing! One spring hits Salai in the nose. Ow! And he ducks under the table, his smirk replaced by cartoon fear. "Master, your clock's trying to kill us." You dodge a gear, muttering, "I wanted to master time, not be mastered by it." The clock's hands spin wildly before stopping, cartoon smoke rising with a puff. You sigh, wiping soot from your face. "Perhaps I'll stick to sundials, they don't fight back." Salai peeks out, giggling. "At least you kept time for about 3 seconds." You can't help laughing. Your inventions may fail, but your sense of humor keeps ticking. Just when you think the day can't get worse, a noble patron arrives. Lorenzo de' Medici, a wealthy supporter eager to see your latest inventions. "Show me your genius, Leonardo," he demands, his red velvet robe gleaming, his face stern with expectation. You gulp, your eyes widening in cartoonish nervousness. "Of course, my lord." You decide to demonstrate a smaller invention, a mechanical lion meant to roar and walk, a gift for the Medici court. You wind up the lion, its wooden body creaking. Behold, a marvel of engineering. But as it starts to move, clank, clank, it lurches forward, then breaks apart with a crack, cartoon smoke rising as its head rolls off and lands at Lorenzo's feet. "Sacre Madonna," you cry, your eyes popping wide, mouth gaping in panic. Lorenzo frowns. "This is your genius? A lion that loses its head?" You stammer. It's a metaphor, my lord. Courage in defeat." Salai snickers from the corner, and you shoot him a glare. Lorenzo sighs. "Stick to painting, Leonardo. Your machines are a menace." He leaves, and you mutter, "Perhaps he's right, but I'll conquer invention yet." Your patron may be unimpressed, but your determination roars on. As the sun sets, casting a golden glow over your workshop, you take a break from inventing to sketch. A bird in flight, a reminder of your failed flying machine. "Perhaps I'll stick to drawing the skies," you muse, your face softening into a slight smirk, eyes gleaming with quiet reflection. The day's been a parade of disasters. The flying machine crash, the tank tumble, the Mona Lisa mess, the diving suit leak, the clock explosion, and the lion's beheading, but you can't help laughing at the absurdity of it all. Salai sweeps the floor nearby, his cartoonish effort sending dust clouds rising, poof. "Master, your inventions may fail, but they make for good stories," he teases, his smirk wide as ever. You chuckle. "True, Salai. Perhaps my failures will inspire someone else to fly." You reflect on your genius, not just in art, but in dreaming big, even when your dreams crash spectacularly. Your workshop may be a mess, but your mind is a canvas of endless possibilities, and that's a masterpiece in itself. Night falls, and you prepare for rest, the day's chaos finally behind you. You shed your brown tunic, the soft cap you've worn all day, landing on a pile of sketches, and slip into a simple nightshirt. Geniuses need sleep too. Salai, ever the cheeky apprentice, tucks you into your wooden bed with exaggerated care. Fluffing your pillow, like a mother hen, cartoon hearts pop around him. "Good night, master. May your dreams be free of crashing machines," he teases, his smirk as wide as ever. You roll your eyes. "Sally, if I dream of inventions, I'll have you building them." But a sleepy smirk spreads. ZZs float above your head. Your workshop is quiet, save for the distant chirp of crickets and the rustle of papers in the breeze. You reflect on the day's failures, the flying machine, the tank, the Mona Lisa, the diving suit, the clock, the lion, but also on your endless curiosity. Each failure is a brushstroke on the canvas of your genius, and tomorrow you'll paint anew. As you drift off, the day fades into dreams of flight, machines, and a Mona Lisa who doesn't mind a little green. Another day as Leonardo da Vinci is done, and you've survived, inventions and all. And so, a day in the life of Leonardo da Vinci comes to a close, leaving behind a legacy of art, invention, and a few hilarious mishaps in the heart of Renaissance Florence. If you're still awake, I hope you've enjoyed these creative antics. If you're drifting off, let the quill's gentle scratch carry you to dreamland. Thanks for joining me on this inventive journey. Like, subscribe, and comment with your thoughts or what historical tale you'd like to hear next. Until then, sleep well, and may your dreams be as boundless as Leonardo's imagination, minus the crashing machines. Good evening, dear listener, and welcome to another soothing journey through history. Tonight, we're setting sail to a time long before Australia was even a dot on the map. Way back before the 17th century, when this mysterious land was a complete unknown to the outside world. Imagine being a modern-day adventurer, dreaming of living in Australia before it was discovered by Europeans, only to find out it's a lot harder than you thought. We'll follow our brave but slightly clueless hero as he tries and hilariously fails to survive in a land he can't even find. If you're ready to trade your modern comforts for a peek into this uncharted misadventure, settle in, dim the lights, and perhaps turn on a fan for that soft hum. If you enjoy this journey, do give a like, subscribe, and whisper in the comments where you're tuning in from. Now, let's hoist the sails and drift into the past, carefully, lest we get lost at sea. 'Tis a foggy morning in 1550, and you're Captain Bartholomew, a modern-day dreamer who somehow found himself in the 16th century, determined to live in Australia, except, well, no one knows where it is yet. You're standing at the helm of a rickety wooden ship, the SS Hopeful, clutching a parchment map that doesn't even show Australia. It's just a big blank spot labeled Unknown Lands, with a little carving of a sea monster for good measure. I'll be the first to live in Australia, you declare, your voice brimming with misplaced confidence, your eyes wide with determination as you gaze at the horizon. Your crew, a handful of scruffy sailors who think you're mad, shakes their heads as you set sail from a European port. "Captain, where are we going?" one asks, scratching his beard. "Australia, of course," you reply, pointing at the blank spot on the map. "It's got kangaroos, beaches, and sunshine. I read about it in a dream." The sailors exchange confused looks. Dreams of such lands are unheard of in 1550. And one mutters, "He's lost his wits, but at least the pay's good." You ignore them, gripping the ship's wheel, ready to sail to a land you can't possibly find. But as the ship creaks and the waves grow taller, you start to wonder if this journey might be a tad trickier than you thought. Days turn into weeks on the open sea, and you're starting to realize why Australia hasn't been discovered yet. It's really hard to find. Your map is useless, just a big blank space with a carving of a sea monster that's starting to look a bit too real. "It's got to be around here somewhere," you insist, squinting at the horizon, your feathered hat drooping in the salty air. But the ocean stretches endlessly, and your ship creaks ominously with every wave. Creak, creak. A storm rolls in, and your parchment map flaps wildly in the wind, threatening to tear apart, leaving you drenched and muttering, "Well, I guess I won't need a map if I never find land." The sailors are losing patience, and one points at a shadowy shape in the water, a sea monster, just like on your map. "Captain, we're doomed," he cries. But you wave him off. "Nonsense. It's probably just a very big fish." The fish circles closer, revealing sharp, carved teeth. Gulp. Your eyes widen in panic, mouth opening in a silent scream as you shout, "Row faster, men! I didn't sign up to be fish food." The sailors row like their lives depend on it, which they do, while you cling to the mast, realizing that without maps, compasses, or even a clue where Australia is, this journey is more doomed than your map. Getting there is the first impossible hurdle, and you haven't even faced the land yet. Miraculously, after months at sea, dodging storms sea monsters, and mutinous grumbles from your crew. You spot land. Australia at last! You cheer, your voice cracking from exhaustion as you stumble ashore, your feathered hat now a soggy mess. But the land you found is no paradise. It's a harsh, sun-scorched outback with sand so hot it burns your feet through your boots. Sizzle! Where are the beaches? The kangaroos! You wail, your eyes wide, mouth downturned in dismay, as you fan yourself with your tattered map, only to realize there's no shade in sight. You take a step, and a snake slithers out from a bush, hissing with an angular, carved mouth. Hiss! Nice snake, good snake, you stammer, backing away, but you trip over a rock and land face first in the sand. Thud! As you spit out sand, you notice aboriginal figures in the distance, watching you with serene curiosity, their bodies painted with ochre, perfectly at home in this harsh land. They've lived here for tens of thousands of years, thriving through hunting, gathering, and deep knowledge of the land. But you're a fish out of water, literally. Without their skills, their culture, or even a clue how to find water, you're already realizing survival here might be a tad trickier than you thought. The sun climbs higher, and you're desperate for water. Your canteen's empty, and there's not a river in sight. Australia's supposed to have water, right? You mutter, your throat drier than the sand around you. You start digging with a stick, hoping for an underground spring. Dig, dig. Your face twists in desperation, eyes wide, mouth open with hope. But all you find is more sand and a grumpy lizard that hisses at you. Hiss. Sorry, friend, I'm not dinner, you yelp, scrambling back. You spot a kangaroo hopping nearby, and in a stroke of genius, you decide to follow it. Kangaroos need water too, right? But as you chase it, the kangaroo grabs your empty canteen and hops off with its carved legs. Hop, hop. Hey, that's mine, you shout, running after it, but you trip over a rock, thud, and land face first in the dirt. The kangaroo disappears, leaving you panting. I guess kangaroos don't share. Without knowledge of the land's hidden water sources, like the Aboriginal people have, you're stuck, thirsty, and realizing hydration in this uncharted land is a survival skill you simply don't have. Your stomach growls louder than a sea monster. And you realize food is your next challenge. There are no grocery stores in pre-discovery Australia. You spot a small stream and decide to catch a fish, thinking, how hard can it be? You wade in, carved water lines rising as you try to grab a fish with your bare hands. Splash! But the fish slips away and you lose your balance, falling face first into the water. Splash! I'm not a fish, you sputter, emerging soaked, your hat floating away with carved ripples. From the distance, Aboriginal hunters watch with serene curiosity, their bodies painted with ochre, perfectly at home in this harsh land. They've mastered hunting here, tracking kangaroos, fishing with nets, gathering bush tucker like yams and berries. But you don't even know what's edible. You try to eat a random plant, but it's bitter, and you spit it out. Patooey. I'd starve before I figure this out, you groan, realizing survival here requires knowledge you don't have. How to hunt, what to eat, and how to avoid poisonous critters. Your modern diet of pizza and coffee won't cut it in this untamed land. As if thirst and hunger weren't enough, Australia's wildlife decides to give you a proper welcome. You're wandering the outback, looking for shade, when a snake slithers out from a bush, hissing with an angular carved mouth. Hiss. Nice snake, good snake, you stammer, your eyes wide, mouth open in terror as you back away. Carved slither lines, but you step on a twig. Snap, and the snake lunges, chasing you across the sand as you run for your life, screaming, I'm too modern to be snake food. You dodge the snake, only to stumble into a dingo's territory, a wild dog with carved fur and sharp teeth, watching with a carved smirk. The dingo gives chase too, and you're now running from two predators, your hat flying off. Whoosh. Why didn't I bring a survival guide? You wail, diving behind a rock to hide. Australia's wildlife, snakes, dingoes, spiders, is deadly, and without the knowledge Aboriginal people have to coexist with these creatures, you'd be lucky to survive a week. Your modern sneakers and optimism are no match for this untamed wilderness. After escaping the wildlife, you finally encounter a group of Aboriginal people, hoping they'll help you survive. Good day, friends. Can you help me find food and shelter? You ask, your voice echoing with carved speech lines. But the Aboriginal group, their bodies painted with ochre, holding spears, just stares at you with puzzled expressions, their faces serene but confused. Huh. You try again. You know, a place to rest, bread, water. They tilt their heads, whispering among themselves in a language you can't understand, and you realize there's a massive cultural and language barrier. You attempt to mime eating, but they think you're signaling for a hunt, and one offers you a spear instead. Whoosh! No, I don't want to hunt. I just want a meal, you cry, your eyes wide, mouth open in frustration. The Aboriginal people have their own rich languages, traditions, and ways of life, honed over millennia. But you lack the knowledge to communicate or integrate. Without understanding their culture, survival skills, or even basic greetings, you're more of a curiosity than a neighbor, a fish out of water in a land you don't belong in. As evening falls, a storm rolls in. Dark clouds, howling winds, and rain that turns the outback into a muddy mess. You've managed to build a makeshift shelter from sticks and leaves, but it's about as sturdy as a paper hat. Crack. It collapses under the rain, carved rain lines falling on your head as you sit in the mud, your face drooping with defeat, eyes half closed, mouth downturned in exhaustion. I just wanted to live in Australia, you mutter, shivering, but this place is trying to kill me. In the distance, the Aboriginal group you met earlier huddles under a natural rock shelter, perfectly dry and warm. Their knowledge of the land keeping them safe. You realize why you couldn't live here before it was discovered. There were no maps to find it. The journey was deadly, and the land itself, its heat, wildlife, and storms, required skills you don't have. The Aboriginal people thrived here for millennia, with their deep understanding of the environment. But you're a modern dreamer, out of place and out of luck, with nothing but a soggy hat and a newfound respect for those who called this land home. Night falls, and you found a dry spot under a tree, making a bed of leaves that's about as comfortable as a rock. But it'll do. You're too tired to care, your soggy hat nesting beside you like a loyal, if useless, companion. Carved ZZ lines float above your head as you drift off. The day's been a parade of disasters. The impossible journey, the harsh outback, the wildlife, the cultural gap, the storm. But you've learned a hard truth. Australia before its discovery was a land for the Aboriginal people, who thrived with skills and knowledge you could never match. In the distance, the Aboriginal group sits around a campfire, their faces serene as they share stories under the stars. Perfectly at home, you dream of your modern life, air conditioning, pizza, Wi-Fi, and realize you're not cut out for this uncharted world. As you sleep, the sounds of the outback, crickets, rustling leaves, and the faint crackle of the fire lull you deeper. A modern misfit in an ancient land, safe at last in the arms of dreams. And so, A journey to Australia before its discovery comes to a close, leaving behind a tale of survival, struggle, and a few soggy hats in a land unknown to the world. If you're still awake, I hope you've enjoyed this uncharted misadventure. If you're drifting off, let the ocean's gentle waves carry you to dreamland. Thanks for joining me on this historical voyage. Like, subscribe, and comment with your thoughts or what historical tale you'd like to hear next. Until then, sleep well, and may your dreams be as adventurous as Bartholomew's, minus the sea monsters.